Janet, happy anniversary.
Yay. Happy anniversary, Janet. Woo. All right, we are live. Welcome everyone to our Success Mastermind for Monday, the 22nd of October, Thanksgiving week here in the United States. Good to see you all. We are going to go ahead and have a fun little conversation today. And got a couple things going on here today. First of which is, of course, what we're doing right now with our general session. I have been putting my nose into a book, and it is the first week that we're going to be going through this book, which I haven't read in a couple of years, and it's great stuff in there. And that is The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. We're going to be covering that first 4 chapters tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. So for those of you participating in our book study group, we are off and running with this next book. We're going to take this in 5 weeks. So 20 chapters plus the foreword. So read the foreword plus the first 4 chapters, and we'll do 4 chapters a week moving forward, and we'll wrap this up before Christmas. So again, that's 9 p.m. Eastern. We do have a special link if you'd like to invite others who would like to be a part of that. That is open to your friends, and that is jlsuccessmastermind.com/books. And they can go ahead and grab a little to get on our email list anyway, right? So anyway, I've been going through this book again, and this was actually something that when I had made the decision, I'll put it that way, I made the decision that I was going to finally become successful as an entrepreneur, okay, like for real successful as an entrepreneur, and dive headlong into a whole new way of doing business. And I had done business before and had mild results, right? Mild meaning, making somewhere approaching 100,000 a year, killing myself doing it, right? That's not what I meant by success. I was looking for major advancement. In other words, doubling my income from where it had been in my best efforts prior, and doing so in a way that didn't destroy my body and the rest of my life and everything else. And so one of the books that was recommended to me was this one that we're getting into now. It was recommended by none other than Bob Proctor. So I know I've talked about Proctor before. He's certainly had a big influence in the lives of many success seekers, myself included. Here's a guy who's been studying personal development philosophy and success psychology for longer than I've been alive. And he also is a guy who did it in contrast to methods that weren't working, or just no method at all, right? Unsound methods or no methods, right? So that's a good thing to contrast with, right? Is here's all the randomity of do whatever you're going to do and hopefully something sticks, versus here's methods and systems and things that have proven workable in the lives of other people. And now you can just go ahead and be the student and not have to pioneer all this stuff or, guesswork, right? I don't like guesswork. Guesswork to me is akin to indecision. And so I'm going to share a story with you. Have I ever told you this story that I'm about to tell you? I have? All right, then I won't tell it. Okay. So, so this is a story of a friend of mine, Don. And Don was a young boy, grew up in the Northeast United States in New England. And he was coming of age, and he wanted to help his uncle change a tire on a car. And so they jacked up the car, and Don proceeded with his tool, proceeded to try and break free the lug nuts on the wheel of the car. And his uncle had to go in or go away for a minute or whatever. And so Don, the youth, started to work this wrench on the lug nut and couldn't break it free. And he thought, I must be going in the wrong direction. So he tried the other direction, and he tried and he couldn't break it free. And so, well, maybe I'm wrong again. He tried the other direction. Anyway, this on for a little bit. And then finally he ran into the house or wherever his uncle was and said, hey, which direction am I supposed to turn the nut? And his uncle said, righty tighty, lefty loosey. And so Don the same boy with the same tool on the same car in the same location with one datum, righty tighty, lefty loosey, went out to the car and with definiteness and decisiveness, put the wrench on the lug nut, went left to loosen it, bam, broke it free just like that. Physically, nothing changed. Okay, what changed? It was right here. Definiteness, decisiveness, a system, right? Nothing random about this. I hope it works. No, all right. Now, a little PS for everyone here. On some like heavyweight trucks, like, semis, tractors and stuff, there are left-handed threads on some of the wheels, just in case you're ever working on that kind of stuff. Okay. But on typical passenger cars, it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, period, end of debate. Okay. So how can we use this in our lives, right? I think this is a beautiful metaphor for all the things that we're attempting to do. In the foreword of this book, which we'll be studying tonight, Joe Murphy makes a lot of promises to us about like transformational kind of stuff, like miraculous, healings and everything else. And whenever I read stuff like that, all right, so he's selling me the book. I got it. I already bought the book. That's okay. You can sell it to me again, right? Because now I actually have to read it. Okay. Most people, what is the statistic? The average. So here's the person who buys a self-help book, and man, we're going to get our life together. We're going to do it. And it's 11 pages is the average. 11 pages read before the book hits the shelf to collect dust. Do with that what you will. Okay. So we already read more than 11 pages. So that's good. Just get through the foreword. You'll be through more than 11 pages. But Joe makes some promises to you, right? Here are the fruits. If you actually take this stuff and apply it decisively, right? Decidedly, and with definiteness, right? Because he's talking about, and we're going to see this tonight when we go through the text. He's talking about being more scientific with our approach. And there's a lot of, like spiritual and Christian influence, that comes up throughout the book. You'll see that where he refers to scripture, and you don't have to be like a devout, Christian or any specific denomination to get value from, the ideas and how he shows us to apply them. But he's talking about applying ideas in a scientific way. So rather than just being, devotional or something, which is a path. Okay. It's not been my path. I'm more of an intellectual, but there's many different paths, right? Emotion and, being, devotional and things like this. I'm more into like the scientific approach, right? Like, why does that work? Right? Like breaking free the lug nut on the wheel, right? Well, now I know the threads are shaped in a certain way. They go this way, they go that way, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Now I can make decisions based on it. I know why it works. Okay. And so for me, as someone who's sought answers to life and how it works, and in many ways how it doesn't, right? Like that worked, that didn't. Why? So for me, that's very pleasing when I can have data on something and not be so vague about it or like blind about it. I suppose a blind faith has its uses, but knowledge certainly has its uses. I like knowing stuff. That's really pleasing for me. And like, who doesn't, right? I mean, if you took this down to tiny little, microcosm kind of, considerations and things you do in your life, right? Let's say you needed to I don't know, write a letter or something. Would it be good to know how to use a pen or how to use your keyboard? Yeah, of course. Ignorance is not bliss. It's not, right? So if we are people that want results in our life, even down to tiny little things, it comes down to you actually knowing what to do. And when I get into, the things that I had to do to transition out of the world of guesswork and trying and hoping that the business succeeds and whatever, right, to ultimately, having, a major, increase, right, a not just incremental, but exponential increase. It's good to see Toyin, by the way. Hi, Toyin. Good to see you, my friend. These were things where I had to get definite about stuff. I had to take a scientific approach. I had to look specifically, what are those people doing? What are those successful methods that they're employing? And how can I duplicate, model, maybe improvise in some ways? Because what did Ralph Emerson say? Imitation is suicide, right? So don't just imitate, right? You got to be you, because you don't get what you want. You get who you are. Okay. So go ahead and assimilate, right? But do that with sound methods, right? That you don't sit there guessing, second guessing yourself with. I think that's where I'm going with all this today. And so as we get into like book studies and everything we talk about here in this group, all of it, as far as I'm concerned, is designed to help you not second guess yourself, to be more scientific with it, with your life, right? And to understand that, again, to quote Ralph, the law of laws, cause and effect, right? To understand that you are in fact cause in many ways that you may not have demonstrated, certainly not fully, right? I mean, I don't know if any of us in the human condition can demonstrate 100% cause. You'd be, manifesting universes and stuff. So, and I suppose that's a possibility. I haven't achieved that, but at least not that I know of. And so here in our little microcosm, where can we be more causative? And the flip side to that would be, where can we be more effective, right? Cause effect, right? How can I have an effect? How, right? So the science behind that. How does it work? How can I do that? Now, preceding all of that, of course, is the why. Why do I want to have that effect? Why do I want to demonstrate prosperity, health, working relationships in my life? And this is a great exercise that we can all do. I know Glenn's brought this up before on Wednesdays. Glenn is the king of Wednesdays around here, right? He hosts our general session, and then every other week or so, he's got our networking magic. But one of the things that Glenn has offered us is the idea of drilling deep into that why. In other words, okay, so why did you show up here in this business opportunity or whatever? Oh, okay, well, to make money. Okay, great. Well, why do you want to make money? Well, to support my family. Okay, great. Well, why do you want to support your family? Well, because I love them, right? Well, why do you love them? Right. So drilling deeper and deeper and going 3, 4, 5, 6 levels deep, who knows, right? To get to something, the core of it, the real passion of it. And then based on what's revealed there, we have what? We have less guesswork once again in terms of, our purpose and our commitment to that purpose. Well, now I know why I'm committed. I just needed to hear the words come out of my mouth. I could use reminders. That's great. So we drill deeper and deeper into the core of why we show up in the first place. And then the production is, just like the loosening of the lug nut, right? It's so much faster and more effective because we're not undecided about why are we showing up here. The late Albert Gray, right? His famous speech on the common denominator of success, where he talked about how successful people have formed the habit of doing things that failures don't like to do. That was his common denominator of success. In that same lecture, he went further and he talked about how production, if your production is lacking in your group, right, your sales team, whatever. He was talking to a bunch of sales managers at Prudential, and but here's what you do: don't like crack the whip and get people in like a competitive fight. No, none of that. He said just get people refocused on their purpose, and then production takes care of itself. So there's an answer, right? So while I'm talking about being scientific here, which we could say is objective, and we put it to the test, and we got third-party clinical studies and very observable objective facts, and that's wonderful. I love that stuff. Behind all that is what? Subjective. What's important to you about this? Why? Terribly subjective. Okay. So we've got to have both. We've got to have both. And I think if we're vague on either one, okay, I had a strong why, but I was vague on methods. No taco for you, right? So yeah, I got my why, but I'm not sure what to do. No cigar, right? Or here's some very sound methods, right? Go buy the course on e-commerce or online marketing or, how to shine shoes or whatever, right? Here's the methods. And I'm a little bit vague on why. No taco for you, right? So we got to have both. And I think in the areas of my life, right, where I've demonstrated, an above average or an exponential increase, right, some great results. Not only have I had a why and a how and what, right, and that's the order we should go in: why, how, what. But I've also put myself in a place where others could validate, reinforce, support, enlighten. Back to my friend Don. Here's little Donnie, right? And he did not know, but because of the environment, because of the group he was in this case, the group included him and his uncle. Okay, because of that environment and that association, he became exponentially more effective. Okay, absent that environment, just little boy with the tool and the machinery, but absent that mentoring, that environment of shared purpose, common purpose, right? Sympathetic purposes, right? Yes, we want the wheel to come off. We want that to work, right? So absent that, he got to struggle. So there's now three pieces to the puzzle, right? There's the subjective why, there's the objective what and how, and then there's the environment in which that whole effort occurs. And I'm sure we could take this further, but I think if you look and take inventory for your own, whatever you're doing with your life, right? Can we just look at, it's not a big inventory, by the way, okay, but we could just look at these three areas, right? Why, which I would say determines who is showing up, who you are, right? And are you vague on any of the whys there? And if so, you can ask yourself why again and drill deeper into, what's the real purpose of this, right? And then the what, the how, the logistics and all that kind of stuff. Okay, do I have sound methods? And you could take inventory on that. That's workable. That I'm not so sure, right? You could take inventory on that. And then the third piece of it is, in what environment are you doing it? And then you can look for yourself and see, well, where am I spending most of my time? Am I mingling with others who are sympathetic with my purposes and have sound methods and all that? In other words, does the environment agree with or contribute to your why and, of course, the what? Because you could take simple example, you could take a seed like an acorn, for example, right? Here's an oak tree, an acorn, and you throw it on a glacier in Antarctica or something, and it's going to die. Perfectly healthy acorn, wrong environment. No taco for you, right? So where did I get the taco thing? I don't know. This stuff, there's just channels through me. I don't know. It must be Mexican. What is it? Oh, it's Monday. I was going to say Tuesday. Taco Tuesday. Oh, well, hold that thought. But but take your own inventory with that. If we just, get all hyped up with motivational something and, man, I'm so on purpose and everything, and yes, I've got good methods, and then you run yourself into a wall and, in an environment that is not conducive to growing oak trees, well, you lose, right? So I want people to win. I think every single person here in this conversation deserves to win. And as I heard the things that just came out of my mouth, I was reminded about another guy who took a scientific approach to this whole idea of, doing and having more of what you want in your life. And that was Wallace Wattles, where he talked about the science of getting rich. And what did he say? If you do things in an efficient way, if every action you take is an efficient one, then you must succeed. You must get rich. On the other hand, if everything you do is inefficient, you must fail. So what did he qualify as efficient? Efficient. These are actions that are done with purpose and faith. Aha! It's the same science. Different doctrine, same science. Purpose, why, and faith. Yes, I have good methods. Now, this will bear fruit. Aha! Purpose and faith makes my actions efficient. So I'm here to learn all I can. Not only about the methods, the how-to kind of stuff, because I'm still a student there, but also about why am I showing up, right? I'm here to keep refocusing my attention on the real, like, what do you really want, John? Why are you really doing this? Some of you know that in fact, I think everybody here knows that my family, we've been looking at a potential and very likely move. Wow, that's big, right? Frankly, I'm tired of moving, but this would be a big one. This would be this, yeah. Anyway, so I've got considerations on that, and so I've just got to look deep and see, why is this good and right? Would this do the most benefit for the most people in the least amount of time? And so these are things, again, where we can take inventory. I think everyone deserves to take inventory. And since we're right now coming into this whole, end of year shopping season and Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Santa Claus and all his little demons, right? So since we're about to go down that road again, and it's going to be an interesting one this year, okay, considering all the stuff that's going on in the world. Yeah, we need to, I think we need to maintain our center with this kind of stuff. And so we come out the other side, not only with ourselves, okay, but the strongest version of that as we hit 2022 with definiteness. And let me say this, with momentum. I've mentioned this before. You start your year whenever you want, right? Well, let's start our 22 statistics right now. Let's start putting numbers on the board. Let's think ahead, right? Let's not be like rats looking for cheese. I need right now. Okay, but let's be prudent, right? And let's think ahead. And what can we put in place right now? Because we've got purpose and faith, right? That will continue to bear fruit after we're through this 30 days worth of whatever this event is, right? And I say that not to disregard the real underlying, talking about like Christmas and stuff. I mean, that's wow. Okay, that's big deal. The whole consumerism, thing that has grown up around that is something where I kind of get, all right, enough. I'm already hearing Christmas music. I have been for like a month. If I ever walk into a store, buy more stuff. So anyway, these are my thoughts, and I hope you got some ideas out of that. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this whole idea of, purpose, faith, a scientific approach, while at the same time knowing for yourself, which is, again, subjectively, why you're showing up in the first place, and knowing that you're in the right environment to have an effect. Any thoughts on this today? Bob and Missy. Hey, Bob and Missy, how you doing?
Hi, everybody. Just let's talk about your friend Donnie. He is John's friend who had to change a tire and learn from his uncle, who wasn't here for that. Had to turn the lug nut. He had blind faith in what his uncle was telling him. So he didn't have to say, no, wait a minute. Does my uncle really know what he's talking about? He loved his uncle. He trusted his uncle. He took his uncle's word and he made it. And that's what this book, Joseph Murphy, okay, yes, he gives you the science, he explains it, which makes it fascinating, but that is not what makes it happen. It's the faith and the application. And what is the quote? Amen, I say to you, whatever you
ask, believe in, you shall receive.
Whatever you ask, believe. If he believed his uncle, if he didn't believe his uncle, he'd still have been like, well, I don't know if I'm not sure if So it applies as adults, it applies into changing this mindset and using your subconscious, truly being the captain. If you're truly the captain, you have to have a crew. You can't run the engine room from the bridge. You got to tell them what to do, as he says in the book, and they follow blindly. They can't see where the boat is going, the ship. Somehow it all works out because it is a science, and they've all proven it's a science. And while it is and I love to know the why too, because I can never stop asking that question, but it's the faith and the application that makes it work, and continue to believe, even if you don't get it at that instant, you can continue, and you have to have persistence and consistency, continuing to do these methods. It's not magic, it's science. And sometimes science needs to boil a little before it comes to fruition. So that was about it.
Awesome. Thank you, Missy. Good to see you, Bob. Hope to
Hi.
see you two back here tonight for book study group. Yeah, yeah. What Missy was talking about and that example, I think is just so simple and yet profound, right? Just knowing which direction to turn the wrench, knowing it, right? And yes, he then proved it to himself, but he did have faith in the teacher, right? That showed up in the environment that was conducive to his success with, common purpose. Take the damn wheel off. So, so simple and yet profound. Anyway, I love that kind of stuff. I see Ace Man and Allie and Daisy's here, Edward, Gail, Ivier, Janet, Lindsay, the mighty Toyin, and Virginia, the queen of all Italian cookies. Any other thoughts on what we're talking about here today with our, whatever this topic is? Hi, Allie. Come on out, my friend.
Hi, hiya. Yeah, what a great example. So simple, but just absolutely has it all in there. Just, yeah, wonderful. I think it's having, he had that absolute purpose. He knew what he wanted to do. I think sometimes that's hard for us to really know exactly what we want to do and have that pure focus and vision on what it is that we want, and knowing that we are in the right environment. The other example of, fighting through the jungle and then climbing a tree and realizing you're in the wrong jungle, or putting a ladder up the wall, it's the wrong wall. That's something that I have kind of struggled with until I really knew what my purpose was. I think that's the key, isn't it? To really know what your purpose is.
So what we were just talking about then, right? So why are we doing it? And then like drilling in on that, right? So getting really clear on the why, the purpose, right? And then having good methods, because you could have one or the other. And that's never been like spectacular for me, right? Having one or the other, got to have both. So, Allie, the interesting thing for me, because I know you and I met via a training program, which offered methods on here's how you do certain types of business and nice. Okay. Which I'm not expert in those methods. Okay. I'm more expert on the other side with the more subjective, the why and the purpose and all that kind of stuff. And that's what I teach. And then add whatever methods you want to that. But in our case, in our relationship, you got methods which then led you into, the bigger considerations, the bigger picture of all that. And I just wonder for people like you, and we've got others here as well. Toyin and I, we met in that same environment. Missy, right? We met in that same kind of a situation where, here's this John guy who, knows a lot about helping people, apply various methods. He may not be expert in those methods, personally, but how to create that internal momentum. All right. So I'm just wondering, and you don't have to answer out loud, Allie, but I'm just wondering how this, looking deeper than just methods, right? How that may have shaped your life. Because I've known you for a couple of years now. Has it been a couple of years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy,
okay.
isn't it?
And I've never met you in person. That'll ultimately happen, I'm sure, at some point. I can't wait for all this nonsense to be over with, whatever this is going on in the world. But I haven't been to England in a while. You probably haven't been to the States in a while. So,
No, I haven't.
yeah. Well,
Well,
some of
you're
us got
welcome
together.
anytime.
Yeah. Some of us got together over in Vegas just a few weeks ago. When was that? October. Right. And we were shooting guns in the desert and eating steaks and doing the whole American thing, Anyway, I can't even remember what I was going to ask you, but thank you.
You were saying about applying to a method, everything, and I mean it's just been absolutely invaluable what you've taught alongside having a method. And in fact, I don't know if other people who were doing the course would agree, but we have been thrown every hurdle in terms of doing an e-commerce and the shipping and all the issues that come along with it over the last year and a half. And I think it's just been an incredible example of how you have to have that resilience and know your purpose, and just be so strong in that to know, so that you can get over those hurdles and just keep on going. That's been a massive lesson. And I think without everything that we've done and you've spoken about and the books that you've recommended, I certainly would have kind of fallen over on the first hurdle. I think just not understanding about how the power of the mind as well, and how crucial mindset is it's just been incredible.
Well, glad you're here, my friend, and so great to have gotten to know you thus far over these last however long. All right, good times. Let's see, anybody else? Any other thoughts on what we're talking about here today? Toyin? Is that Toyin?
Yes, John.
I figured if I said your name at least 3 times, you would speak.
Yeah, thank you for I missed the beginning, but I got the gist of the talk. And for me, the knowing your why, which is what you've reminded me about today, is so important. And I've always known my why, but so obviously my business it's not obvious, but my business is I do counseling with young people, young adults and children, alongside my day job. But I've always known that I love to do that, but I hadn't always had I don't know if the word is guts to do it as a business, but I've always known that it's something I love. And it was when I read one of the books we've read, I think it was, might have been Millionaire Mindset, I'm not sure, that just said, do whatever it is you can do to start earning money. And so at that point, I'm not sure which book it is, but it's one of the books we've read. And at that point, I just decided to launch the business, because I always knew that once I joined obviously, like you said, I started from a different platform and then we moved to this platform. I'm not even doing e-commerce at all anymore, but from starting e-commerce, I've now discovered that actually the business I want to do is my counseling business. And I was able to just start it when I read that book that said, whatever it is that's going to earn you money, just start it today. So then I started the business. And so the why for me is always about just helping young people live their lives, understand their feelings, be able to relate to others. And so I always have that why. I don't always remember it, but when I'm in the room with a young person, whether it be Zoom or in person, I always love that feeling of just being able to be there, to listen, to reflect back what they're saying. Some people don't ever have anyone who listens to them or hears them, and I'm that person who hears or listens. So that side of it is good for me, although it was good to have a reminder today. But the methods, I guess for me, is the one that I struggle with. I have methods that work, but because I'm juggling between business and then my day job, sometimes my methods slip. So that is something that I'm having to constantly review all the time. And I was, even this morning, I had a call with my sister Ade about, this is what I'm struggling with. How come my morning before I was able to have my exercise, do my reading, and now why am I struggling? And I had to think about what's different. And then I realized that, okay, during lockdown, getting to work was, because I had to work through lockdown, but going to work was easy because they used to send a cab to pick me up. So I didn't have to make my way to work. So I had more time. And now that I have to make my way to work, I have less time. So it was good to think about that. But so I'm always thinking about methods and actually plugging into your calls. I'm not ever hardly on the call, but I always watch back, and it's really helpful to, listen to your talk. So that's, for me, that's also the environment, because having the environment again is important. And I've discovered that if people are not doing business, they don't really get it. Their mindset is different. So it's really helpful to have this platform, even though I'm not on the calls, to listen to you or whoever's presenting. That's, for me, the environment, and that's great. And then it's the course, the methods that I'm constantly reviewing and trying to get better and make better. And I just want to say thank you, because being on this platform is, has helped me to have the confidence to just go and launch the business. And I'm doing well. I just need to grow the business more, but I have clients without even doing anything. I've got clients. So it's going well. But I think the more I develop the methods, sound methods, like you said, then the more I will be able to grow the business. But then it's juggling because I'm still doing my day job, which I'm trying to leave, but I haven't been able to yet. So I'm juggling, but it's going well compared to this time last year. Sometimes when I have to remind myself to be grateful, and when I'm thinking about being grateful, I think, well, think about where you were this time last year and think about where you are now, and I'm in such a different place. So I'm saying thank you, but I'm saying that for me, the thing I'm having to keep juggling is the methods, the sound methods, getting the sound methods in place, being able to keep them in place, having the right mindset, and all that. And thank you also, because the books are amazing. They're really helpful. It's helpful to, refer back to the books. But thank you for this platform that you've provided, because it's so, for me, it's so helpful, even though I don't come on the live calls very often. That's what I wanted to say.
Well, you're here now. So there's that. And look, you just said that you have clients, even though you haven't right. Okay. So what does that reveal? That reveals that your service, what you're offering people is in demand, right? So now let's say we put some marketing behind that, some, whatever the methods are, right? Then, well, could you in fact get what you want by helping others get what they want, right? They obviously, look, I think the whole world could use some counseling right now, right? So is that like weird or surprising that people are showing up for your services? Probably not. And as far as the books, I was just going through the here's our members site, and so whether people show up live or not, look at this. This is just the running archive of the books that we've gone through so far. Look at this, and we're just getting started. Look at that. Classics. I think this is the one you were referring to, T. Harv Eker, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Look at this. Wow. We read all this in the last, year and a half or so? That's it. Yeah. Wow. So yeah, definitely show up, everybody. We're going to have some fun. Love you, Toy. I'm glad you're here. And and one of your country women are there with you as well. Hello, Ivier, the mighty Ivier Barnabas, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot wait to hear what she's going to say.
Hello, John. Hi, everyone. Yeah, it's just amazing. Just listening to Ali, listening to Toyin, and Missy as well, and how far we've grown from where we started this journey. It's just great to see the impact that all of this is having on us. I think biggest thing for me is it's not just applicable to a business environment. This stuff is transferable, to our family relationships, to our 9-to-5 jobs, to, wherever we want to take this, right? We can take elements of what we're talking about here, the books we're reading, the stuff we're learning. It works anyway. In the workplace, I'm asking myself now, who am I in the workplace? What do I want to be known for? What's my reputation professionally? Why am I doing what I'm doing? So I'm having to question and drill down to find out my whys. Like, am I really committed to this 9-to-5? Why am I doing it? What answers or what needs is that going to fulfill in my life? And from getting that clarity, when I speak to my bosses, when I present, I know why I'm there. And I mean, that stuff comes through. So when I get feedback, people end up telling me what I already know because I've drilled down so many layers. And it's just amazing that once you project that. And people pretty much sum up what you're about and they say that back to you. That's the proof that you've hit it, you're in the zone, and you're doing what you should be doing. You're thriving in that space, that only you can thrive in. And it's just phenomenal. I was a bit late onto the call because I was on a call with my boss, and he's just come back into the office today, and I was covering for him while he was away. And so I was just giving him tons of updates. This has happened, that has happened. And he just took one look at me and he said, "Thank you so much for good news." But I was like, why am I going to give you anything but good news? But that's just one example. Because we're in this environment, we're on this platform, we're people of intent. And even if something hasn't happened, positive, when we report on it, we pick out what's positive about it. It's got to have a good, good effect, good impact on the person who's receiving it, right? So, I mean, the old me probably would just have said it like it happened. I wouldn't have thought through, okay, what message do I want to deliver? How do I want this to be received? But he was so grateful that the sky hadn't fallen out. We hadn't dropped the ball on anything. Business still ticked along while he was away. We got so much done in his absence. The division is still highly regarded, so much so, and I didn't know this. He said to me, oh, I'm not sure if I should be telling you this, but in my absence, someone's nominated you for a spot bonus. Now, I'm not saying that because I say stuff to get that in return, just because I know what I'm about, who I am, why I'm doing stuff. I take that understanding that no one can shake me off, the core of who I am. And I just go into the business acting like that. I wasn't expecting anything. I just thought I was covering for my boss. But then he says to me, oh, by the way, so-and-so is nominated. I don't know if I should be saying this to you, but I'm sure you're going to get a letter shortly saying you're going to get X amount in recognition for, but I wasn't after that. And it's just amazing that the stuff we're doing here, even though we started with a business mindset, I'm taking it to other areas in my life and it's bearing fruit. I mean, in my personal relationships, I know what I'm about. And there's just some people that I've said, you know what? You're not helping me get to where I want to be. You're not making me every day in every way. I'm not getting better and better with having you in my life, right? And I just have posture now. And John, you talk about this word, and if it's one thing that I've gotten from you, posture. I have such posture now that I don't apologize. I'm like, this is who I am. This is what I'm about. These are my strengths. This is what I bring to the party, and I'm going to deliver that. I don't try and be someone else. I don't imitate. I go in there being me. So I put my hands up for projects that I know I will deliver on, I will complete. And so my profile in the workplace, my profile on the social, it's just, and it's from this platform. And to think that all of this was birthed in a period where the world was in chaos, and just, every day I'm just grateful that out of nonsense and out of absolute shutdown and lockdowns and restrictions, we've birthed something so positive that's still giving. We don't know how much we're yet to glean from this platform. It's not even growing. It's still like bubbling. We haven't come to the fullness of this yet. And yet I can see the returns in different spheres of life. It's amazing. So I'm listening to everyone's stories and I'm just saying, this is phenomenal. And, I may not be on every day, but I second everything everybody has said. It's life-changing. We're better people for it. So thank you, John. It's amazing.
Thank you, Ivie. Thank you. Wow. I'm getting a lot out of this too. Because look, just like you didn't know about the spot bonus or whatever it is, right? Or that wasn't like the main, I shall do good work just to get this bonus. I just got a bonus, right? So when I hear about, what comes of all this, look, I couldn't accomplish nearly, like, not even 10% of what I've accomplished in my life if it wasn't for these principles and these things that I've been studying for so long. And so if I can, you mentioned posture, right? And that's just one concept, Ivie, but you're the type of person who takes a concept and like gets every bit of juice out of it. Like if I handed Ivie like an orange, right? That orange would be bled dry to the point where it was dust, right? Ivie has that much integrity with, all right, this is a principle, we're going to use it. I'm going to use it. Watch me use it now, right? And so I guess right back at you, right? So I said, oh, look, here's this. But then Ivie comes along and says, all right, now we shall demonstrate what this actually can do. And so thank you, my friend, for being a friend and for being such a person. You're impeccable. It's when I think of Ivie, I think of impeccability.
Oh, thanks, John.
Yeah. Awesome. Good times. All right. Enough tongue bath. Any other thoughts from anyone else here today? All right. Well, then let's go ahead and wrap up. I'm going to be back here at 9 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. We're going to cover the first 4 chapters of Joe Murphy, Power of Your Subconscious Mind. And feel free to invite a friend. And in the meantime, let's have an awesome day. Let's do it. Because if not us, then who, right?